Hey everyone, so this is my second video blog, and before I get started I just wanted to point out something about my first video blog. Is that first off, I was really nervous because even though I've gotten in front of hundreds of people and told my story to others, I don't know who's watching my videos, and that kind of worries me. But at the same time, this is the whole reason that I'm doing these videos, is because I want to raise awareness. I want people to see and hear the voice of kids like me, which I guess I'm not a kid anymore, but kids that are born with bladder exstrophy, exstrophy, kids that have an ileostomy, a Mitrofanoff, a infalicil, an perforated anus. I know I'm what. Hang on. I know I'm missing some. Just give me a second. Oh, whatever. I don't know. There's 18. Trust me. There's 18 birth defects somewhere in there. And so, anyways, you guys get the point. I wanted to raise awareness about my birth defects, but I've been just really going back and forth. Do I or do I not? And I've been just really praying for God to send me a sign to, just show me that this is what I'm supposed to do. Well, today I had planned on posting my first video and also a video such as this one to follow, and I just wanted to share something with you guys. I actually received a message today through email, and it was from parents who seen some comments that I had made on one of my medical discussion boards, I guess you would call it. And she contacted me and said that her daughter was just born a few months ago with one of my birth defects, and that in her opinion, I'm an inspiration and I'm a really strong young woman, and that she would love to get to know me, and what does the future hold for her daughter. And after I read her message, I can honestly say I truly do believe that was my sign, because I had plans on posting it today, and then to receive that message, it just encourages me that much more that this is what I need to do, whether I want to or not, which I do, don't get me wrong, I want to, but I need to share my story with other people so that they know what's ahead. They can understand it a little bit more clear, because doctors only tell you so much, and the internet only tells you so much, and that's just it. When I was growing up, yeah, my doctor explained some stuff, but how much can you really explain to a 4-year-old? I mean, I can remember times of truly not really understanding what I'm about to have done to me, but my doctor said I needed it, so I did it. And that's not the best thing to live by. I mean, I look back and it's just like, should I have asked more questions? So, anyways, I just wanted to point out that, and I'm not going to say who it was, because I really, with these video blogs, I don't want to use anybody's names unless I already have their permission. Basically, I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for, people like that woman who had a daughter recently being born with my birth defects, taking a moment to actually write me a letter. So I just wanted to address some of the questions that she had about, what the future holds for her daughter. Her daughter actually has one of my birth defects, which is called bladder exstrophy. So bladder exstrophy is a condition which affects 10 to 50,000 live births, and it affects both boys and girls, and this condition happens in the first few weeks of being in the womb. And what it actually is, bladder exstrophy is a rare condition where the bladder is actually exposed on the outside of the body. And basically, the reason that this happens is because the abdominal wall fails to close properly. Because of bladder exstrophy, I actually have to self-catheterize. And anybody that is normal watching this video is going to be like, okay, you just told the world that you do that. Well, anybody born with my problems is going to have to self-cath. And my doctor basically at the age of 6 told me, you're a strong-willed child, and I know you can self-catheterize. And so they sent me to a therapist where I don't really know why they sent me there, but it was more or less mind out over matter. And at the age of 6, I learned to self-catheterize. Now, because my bladder exstrophy was so severe, I had a lot of difficulties with leakage, and a lot of us have that were born with bladder exstrophy. And so I've had over 60 surgeries just on my bladder alone. And a lot of that was to try to fix the leaking when I was growing up. Well, it didn't work. And after years and years of trying to fix the leak, and we never really knew why it was, we finally decided that we would try this new procedure, which isn't as new now. I mean, it's been around for years and years now, but it's actually called a Mitrofanoff. And what it is when you look at your body, your bladder is on your right side, and right outside your bladder, I have this thing called a stoma. And what it is it's a piece of small intestine. It can either be small intestine or it can be appendix. And probably something else too. I mean, doctors come up with all kinds of stuff these days. But anyways, so the piece of bowel is actually connected from the abdominal wall to your bladder, and it sort of makes like a tunnel, if you can imagine that. And basically you just put the catheter right through the tunnel, and it goes straight into the bladder. So it's a very simple idea behind this, but the surgery itself is a big surgery. And honestly, out of 111 surgeries, it definitely comes in the top 5 most painful surgeries that I've ever experienced. But I must say, for those that are watching this that are thinking about having Mitrofanoff surgery done, in my personal, now this is my personal, there's other people out there that will disagree on this, but my personal experience with it, it changed my life. I mean, it made my life so much better, because I had so many issues, and I just wish we would have done this years and years before we did. Now, I have to say, with having the Mitrofanoff and having bladder exstrophy and also exstrophy, you know, it's a long road. It's not been easy. And even since I've had the Mitrofanoff surgery, which I was 6 years old when I learned to self-catheterize, I was 11 years old when I had my Mitrofanoff surgery, and basically I just wish we would have done it sooner. Now, I can't say that my Mitrofanoff is perfect, because I was actually only born with small intestine. I was not born with any large intestines at all. And so basically, for those that have a Mitrofanoff and use the small bowel piece, the bowel can actually stretch. I mean, you got to think, you're putting a tube inside your bladder every 4 to 6 hours. Sometimes, you know, there's people that actually do it every hour, every 2 hours. In my case, I was lucky enough, even with having 60 plus surgeries on just my bladder, I was lucky enough to actually just be able to feel when I actually have to catheterize. And so anyways, that's the whole Mitrofanoff. And you know, a lot of us that are born with bladder exstrophy, I'm noticing, are having to have a Mitrofanoff done, because it is a lot easier and it does make life a lot more simpler. Because I was technically born with 2 bladders and they both were not formed correctly, so they actually took half my stomach and one of the bladders and attached it together. Now, anybody watching this is like, really? Can you do that? Yeah, you can. So another question that I've been asked a lot is, did I go to a public school? And to answer that question, yes. And so when I was in middle school, in the nurse's station, I would use that bathroom, and I would actually have a filing cabinet which had a lock on it, and I would put my medical supplies in that filing cabinet in the bathroom. And you know, I had a note on it saying, do not open, this is private property, and there was a hideaway key on the side of the filing cabinet. And so that's how I went through school every day, and every day that I would have to, you know, change my medical supplies or use my medical supplies, it was always there. And I would always have like a spare set of clothes. And you know, nowadays I'm old enough to carry a purse, so I have extra medical supplies in my purse at all times. Because I mean, technically, if you need to change your ostomy bag, or you need to you know, catheterize, and you're 45 minutes away, obviously it's not going to do you no good if you don't have your medical supplies with you. Anyways, growing up, none of my friends had any of my birth defects, and it was always interesting telling new people about my birth defects. And so growing up, you will learn who your real friends are and who aren't. And there were several times when I would be gone from school and just nobody would even call me, because I don't know, you know. And as you grow up, you start to think about that. Well, are they friends with me, or you know, do they even care? But to this day, I still have a few childhood friends that I know will always be there. And as your child grows up, they will make those same choices and find out who will be their friends and who won't. Because having this lifestyle of having surgery after surgery and so many birth defects, you will get rejected, and it will hurt, but you'll bounce back, and sooner or later you'll meet friends who love you for who you are on the inside, with or without your scars. Anyways, growing up, I had 3 siblings, and they were all older. And when basically growing up, my father paid the bills, he worked, provided for the family. My mother took care of me. She had to be at the hospital, she would be there. I look back now, and it's hard, because I know that that was time away that she took from the 3 other kids. And at one point in time, I remember hearing my siblings say, well, why does she get all your attention? And I wish she wasn't born, and life would have been different if She wasn't born. And I remember that. But the way that my parents raised me was to be strong. They raised me to be like any other kid. So growing up, that was a big thing in my family, was you want to do something, you go do it yourself. You're not going to be treated any different because you're handicapped. And that was it. I mean, if I wanted to go play sports, I played sports. If I wanted to rollerblade, I did it. So, yeah, it's been a long road. It's not easy, but it's life. So for those of you that are watching my video and have any questions, feel free to send me a message and I'll try to answer your questions the best that I can. And until my next video blog, I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.